What's up? What's up? Yeah, I'm just doing this super casual. I don't, I thought I'd go live here. Late night. For some of you out there, even watching this, you might even be in the southern hemisphere, another part of the world. So it's like your morning time, your afternoon time. I'm even eating lunch right now. I might even eat on the stream. So we'll see if anybody jumps in here. I don't expect anybody really. I did a live stream yesterday. You could check that out. If I leave this video up, I'll put the link up there. It's my forecast for the week. I talk about basic dates this week, a lot about the Mercury-Venus conjunction that's happening tomorrow or there right now, the eclipse obviously. But I wanted to do an impromptu stream and basically go over some data points, important dates in the retrograde story from now all the way, looks like, into the end of April, some dates that I picked, so on and so forth. So that's what I'm doing here. I already see a couple people in chat, you weirdos. Don't you have a life? I see KP1231, Lillian K. Michelle, JS Ballard, Alex, Wake Me From This, Barish, hi, how are you? Surprise. Yeah, I'm standing for this stream. Let's see how long that lasts. I might sit down and move the desk and see if I could do that live. Wild Magi is in chat. Let's bust it out. Let's see here. Yelena in chat. Right? We have that in chat. Let's see if I could zoom in on you. Zoom in. So that's what's up there. I'll throw this up on the main chart. Again, thanks for jumping in. I don't expect a lot of people, but we got something here. As I said in the beginning, I'm going to talk about important dates here. And this is an impromptu stream. I don't know if I'm even going to leave this up. And if I do, it's just going to be for my Patreon and channel members after. I'm not seeing it. I just don't know. I was sitting here looking at dates for the retrograde, and I thought I'd do something. Like, maybe I make a recorded video. I see all these recorded videos out there, and I'm like, man, I should be doing something. I'm like, man, I just did something. I just did something yesterday, but why can't I go live again? Like, why can't I just do that again? I'm not going to get new people. It doesn't matter at this point. That's how I feel today. JS Ballard is listening from the bathtub. That's for you. Tal, what's up, homie? How are you, brother? How are you? Say hi to the winds. The spooky island winds. So yeah, let's do it, okay? And again, this is no formality to any of this. And we're gonna start from dates. I might use this. That too. I just got this new app. I love this thing. It's called Terminator. So it's like a theremin, but I'm controlling with. Yeah, see, this is so good. So let's go to this, and I need to see if this works, and if I even show up on the screen. So the first date I wrote here actually had to do with February 28th, which is already passed. And that is the day that Mercury in Pisces hit its shadow place. So last week, is it already? Or no, it's February 28th, hit its shadow. What does that mean? At 26 degrees. This means that is the beginning of the shadow space. So when Mercury goes all the way back there in the retrograde, it's going to go all the way back to this 26 degree point that Mercury was originally at on February 28th. So we already got a very important date right there that we're going to use here in all this, right? So let's remember that. So 26 degrees Pisces. And remember too that Saturn right now is, if I'm correct here, Saturn, let me get this together here. Saturn's at 21 degrees, so we know Saturn's going to hit 26, and I can, I'll look that up. It's going to hit 26, Saturn, when we get to April 13th, 12th, 13th, 14th, right? Very important time. So Saturn's going to hit this point too, besides Mercury doing it. And let's also make a point of, while I find my ephemeris, you can't see this, that Venus goes all the way back. Well, it will too. It will go to hit 26 degrees on April 26th. No, it will first hit it first week of April. It's still going retrograde. So Venus will hit this place several times, this 26 degrees Pisces place. So it's very important here, now that we have Mercury here too on this one, that we set this date up. Then it was on March 3rd, right? March 3rd, last week, that Mercury entered Aries. So Mercury went into Aries in this time. We make a note of that because that's 0 degrees Aries. And we also make a note whenever any of these planets in Pisces is hitting 29 degrees, the last degree of Pisces, and going into 0. This is a very important point basically in the astrology world in general when transits happen. We're going to have many other planets. We're going to have Saturn and Neptune do this several times later in the year. This is a lot of activity over these important degree points where the end of the zodiac and the beginning of the zodiac happens. And a lot of world astrology has events that happen here. You know, you could go all the way back, not to, you know, when it was when we were dealing with Uranus going into Aries. The day that it went into Aries, we had the massive storm that hit Japan, and we had Fukushima happen. That was on the day when Uranus went into 0 Aries. Not saying that's going to happen again, but the events do happen here. Very important world events. So saying that, just want to get that. So on March 3rd is another important date at 0 degrees, right? When we get to basically right now and into tomorrow, from the time I do this stream, I talked about this last night on the stream, Mercury in Aries, right, is conjunct Venus RX in Aries, right? And this is at the important 9 degree point that I talked about on the stream. This particular point is also the point where we will have another eclipse in a couple of weeks, finishing out the Aries and Libra eclipse at 9 degrees. So you see this. Oh, let's look at my face. See, I was trying to figure out, is it there that I'm going to go put myself? Yeah, I'll put myself on the top corner. So, okay, 3 important dates off the bat here. 2 that have already happened. 1 that is happening now, right? So on and so forth. Okay, so I don't want to lose. It's like I don't want to lose these slides. My Go I see in chat along with GME. I know, what a surprise. I mean, you're getting it from me. Let's just go back to my face. You're all getting a surprise tonight with all this. And I'm up here in my place. You really want. Side note here, this is me transmitting a message. I should be making a video formally that's edited and has all this extra stuff. And if I put all signs, or if I did all that, I would get so much more traffic. And I see all these other people, they're getting thousands of views. And I'm like, I'm tired, man. I don't have time. My life's been crazy lately. Balancing things, all that stuff. So I'm like, I still can do this and take it down and make another regular formal video. But you know how I roll. I'm not necessarily formal all the time. That's my little deal. Okay, so there you go. There's some important dates there. February 28th, March 3rd, Now, let's see if I can remember how to do this kind of erasing situation, because if I highlight this, I should be able to go pow. And I did. So, all right, so there's that. Let's go into the other dates. I also want to say hi to Sarah Metlin and Chad. Great surprises is perfect. Yeah, I feel you. Sherry Berry, my midheaven is at 8 degrees. Yes, transits are there right now for you, my friend. And depending on where Mars is in your chart, I would take a look at not just transiting Mars, but I would look at, well, transiting Mars, Sherry Berry, if you have a midheaven, most likely from a whole sign perspective, you might have a 10th house, Aries house. It tells me then that you're a Cancer rising possibly, and Mars retrograde has been happening in your first house. So you already got a story going on there. So it's the story of your first house connected to your 10th and like career and how you see the world, how the world sees you, blah, 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 blah. All right. So saying that, let's go to the next date that we have here is actually, the eclipse day, and the day after the eclipse, we'll just put March. How did I write it here? It officially is happening. We'll just put March 15th. Okay. It's 14th and 15th. That Mercury stations retrograde. Okay. And so that is coming up here later this week. And it is part of the eclipse that happens the day before. Very important part of the eclipse in here. And it stations retrograde, right? And that's at 9 degrees. Again, a very important point here. Okay? So to go back, just want to welcome those in chat for my surprise live stream. What's up? So on and so forth. So again, I got to move my face here. And you see it stations here on Friday at 9 degrees. Again, another important point. Let's take a note here for the video that Venus is going to hit this particular degree. When we have the Aries birthday start, we're going to have a day where the sun's at 9 degrees, right? And so, and then when the moon is going to be coming across in the next month into Aries, we're going to hit these places from Pisces to Aries, right? So that's later on. That's later on here in the weeks coming up, okay? So saying that, we want to make this note here. This is a very important place here because we're about to go backwards. So in one sense, we get a lot of from 26 degrees Pisces. So we did 26 degrees Pisces, and at least to this point, it's to 9 degrees at this point, okay? So important degrees, but there's more to this. Saying that, we're going to go up to March 20th, okay? And it is here that the sun goes into Aries. This is the equinox. Very important. Super important week that's going to occur here, as it always is during a Mars when the sun goes into Aries. This is very important week. Tenfold coming up here. Why? Well, because we talked about it's 0 degrees Aries. So even on the 19th, when it's 29 degrees, right? We're 29. Let's remember, we're going to, this Sun-Neptune conjunction that's going to happen here. Actually, let's just take a look. Let me look to see the 20th, Yeah, Sun-Neptune conjunction happens on the 19th at 29 degrees. Again, important points here. Then the sun goes into Aries at 0. Really then, the next 2 days, it's March. It's the 22nd. And I think regardless of your chart, by the way, regardless of your chart, all of you can take advantage of what I'm about to say here, okay? So it's March 22nd that we have the Sun-Venus conjunction that happens. And this is at 2 degrees Aries, okay? Remember, Venus is moving backwards, RX. So this is the midpoint of the Venus retrograde cycle. Very important here for the rebirth, death and rebirth, metaphorical death and rebirth that happens. With Venus going through in Aries, Venus going backwards, it's kind of have to redefine and really take a look at how Venus does relationships through Aries, a Mars ruled sign, an immediate, instinctual, impulsive combination of wanting it, whatever they desire now. Give it to me now. I will take action in my relationships now. I have a crush on you. I will outright tell you, even while Mercury's retrograde, I will show this to you. I feel it in my fucking blood, in my loins, okay? And but the way that is happening, let's say for someone who is a Mercury or a Venus in Aries, they're definitely on stage right now, and they're having to re-look and probably have a relationship situation or a money situation in their life that requires contemplation and needing to stop and chill. But they can't because they don't run that way, Venus and Aries, because they want it now. Give it to me now. I'm hungry now. So there's lessons here. Now, when it hits this 22 degree or the March 22nd, we have a holy moment where it goes through in the process, in the underworld process, and burns down to a crisp within the heart of the sun. There's that 17-minute period, that little period where it's really there. They call it Kazemi, but pretty much the conjunction is going on all day. If this particular, actually, no, I won't say for particular people. I say in general, we do the equinox on the 20th. We get into the 22nd. These are powerful days in general, right? But it doesn't stop there. But maybe ritualize it for yourself. I don't know, write a song, do whatever the hell you do in the Aries part of your chart. But know your relation to the Aries part of your life or the Aries part of your chart or your planets there is in the cauldron of the sun. And I like this. I like planets that are conjunct the sun, like we're going to do Saturn this week. I think these are important moments in anyone's chart. Obviously, if you have something connected in these early degrees of Aries, 0, 1, 2, whatever, your Venus in Aries, your Mars in Aries, you're in Aries, even if you're a Libra, this is a big moment, and I like the moment, considering that all the transits are wacky and all over the place. I want to see if I could do something on the fly, like make myself big. Hey, look at now. I'm this like thing right there. It's like, look at me. I'm Venus in Aries, and I want you. You're mine, and we're in a relationship together. And what? What did you just say? No? Am I jumping the gun? What do you mean I have to wait? That's what's happening. That's what's happening. So saying that, Denise Rossthorn in chat, welcome, along with Scorpio 6X and a super chat donation from Canada Dry. Good to see you, my old friend. Good to see you here in chat. Hola, mi amor. Aquí estoy dando tus pocos con todo mi corazón. You're funny. Somebody can... you can't see it there, but when I highlight it, it says flex biceps when I'm hovering over that. That's funny. Canada Dry, thank you so much for the super chat. All right, so Venus rebirth process here, right? Evening, slowly, it's been the evening star, this disappeared behind the sun, and eventually, we'll see it weeks down end, later on, come up as morning star. Okay, so that's what's happening on the 22nd. Important. Like, what the hell does that have to do with Mercury retrograde, right? What does it have to do? And so now we'll get to the reason why I'm pointing this out. And as I highlight this thing right here and go goong, and I got sound effects that go goong. And so saying that, the important day after that is then March 24th. Okay. And hold on a second. I need to look at something on my notes here. Because guess what happens on March 24th? The 24th is when Mercury and the sun are conjunct. So we got a rare moment here. This is Mercury in Aries, RX. Okay. This is at 4 degrees Aries. And that happens the 24th. So basically, within 48 hours, you have 2 amazing planetary sun conjunctions that happen, both in the sign of Aries, both with the main players that are really showing us the story with the eclipses and the Venus retrograde, Mercury retrograde, even the Mars retrograde, is Venus and Mercury. So you have that going on here, and Mercury now is at the midpoint of its retrograde cycle where it's conjuncts the sun, and that for that 17-minute period of time, I think it's 17 minutes, I don't know. There's a Cazimi period. Great time, by the way, to repopulate or get your bearings during Mercury retrograde. Many of us in the astrology world and stuff, you'll see on that day, the 24th is actually a Monday. This is going to happen at 12:48, the exact conjunction. You're going to see emails come into your box of newsletters and a lot of posts about things. People are going to be selling you something. They're going to do whatever. They're going to be announcing something. I most likely will be doing an announcement of some sort or whatever. And I'm going to be doing it at this moment because during the retrograde, it's pretty much one of the sweet spots that happens for Mercury. Just like the 2 days before with Venus, same kind of thing. It's one of the sweet spots. So when you have two planets like this going retrograde in 48 hours at sweet spots, hey, rare business. Do the ritual, do the intention, clear the whatevers, set the something. You'll know you'll have to do the details and whatever, but during retrograde periods, if you're looking for the moments, there they are. I just gave you the 22nd and the 24th, right? So, it's interesting, though, on the 24th, I want to make a note on the 24th that also earlier in the day, the moon will go into Aquarius, and which will mean it will be a moon-Pluto conjunction for the month that I always talk about on my Instagram group when I do my audio messages on my Instagram community or whatever. I always do this once a month. We have that kind of storyline along with the Mercury-Sun conjunction here, and it's fire and air. So you got sextile vibes going on that day. I really like this day. I really like it. Canada Dry is in a mood because they just dropped another super chat on me. Always, always. Siempre, siempre. Thank you, Canada Dry. And I like how y'all know each other in chat. Mila's in here. I see too. All right. Right on, Canada Dry. Thank you. Thank you so much. Good to see you again on here. So that happens. Moon Pluto is going to happen on the 24th. So from a mercurial perspective, from air and fire, little hints of the future are here in this golden moment for Mercury. And if you're an Aries person, again, and you're dealing with stuff, and you have a last eclipse that you're going to deal with here 2 days from this March 24th, because on March 26th is the eclipse that happens at 9 degrees Aries, right? So you see how these days, how we lead up to this. Mercury in Aries going retrograde, I think, has to learn discernment and a little bit of lessons from the Libra in actual terms. I think it has to learn, weighing things out. That you don't have to be a Libra, but I think sometimes when Mercury in Aries is spitting fire and saying what it wants and communicating it rapidly, and sometimes there's not the balance in communication, what could be the listening, or not like taking the time to look at the whole scenario and weigh the whole thing out, like all sides, like a Libra would. And so if there is unbalanced properties going on with Mercury in Aries, this is a moment with the Mercury-Sun conjunction to kind of find it's something else and to have its rebirthing moment and eventually have to apply those things in the next couple weeks. That's what you would want here. That's what I'm saying. Does that happen? Meet any Aries, anybody's got Mercury in Aries. They'll tell it like it is. But sometimes you don't tell it like it is. Sometimes you wait to tell it like it is. Sometimes you don't say anything and you listen. And later on you tell it like it is. And sometimes if it's an emotional situation and it's revved up and your relationship life, Venus is going retrograde in Aries, these things in the middle of eclipse season, is someone able to stop and take a breath, the Aries, and see it another way. Usually if an Aries has to see something another way, they're feeling like they're sacrificing themselves or not putting themselves first. It doesn't, by seeing things another way doesn't mean you lose your own will and your autonomy of having to put yourself out in the world, which you feel so adamant about these days, especially after the last year and a half eclipses in your sign. But you still have to deal with other people in the world. You can't always get what you want, but you get what you did. It's a great song if you know what I'm talking about. So, but eventually you'll get what you need. And the primal need, is the important thing here for everybody. I mentioned this on my live stream last night. For everybody here during eclipse season, the Pisces and Aries story is the story of instinct and what you need and what you want now, and the intuition in the bigger picture. And so we are playing the story here of understanding all this. So here, I see the chat knows. You know that song? It reminds me of jukeboxes and bars. And I miss that. I miss putting a quarter in a jukebox and flipping through. And not the digital touchscreen jukeboxes, but I miss a jukebox. And the way it sounds in the not so best speakers in the restaurant or the bar, and how many recordings done in 40s, 50s, 60s, and 70s, they could work anywhere on a one speaker car that's barely working, in stereo speakers on vinyl with an amplifier with a $2,000 system, or through a jukebox speaker in a bar. The way sounds were mixed. Now when you hear songs, it's mixed digitally, like Spotify, and it has no quality, no depth. It's all flat. They've been making music all these years for the algorithm of Spotify. I don't want to hear that, man. I wanted to kick back beers and shoot pool in the bar, and Rolling Stones and The Doors and Jimi Hendrix and any other shit, AC/DC, whatever, Janis Joplin, the old school shit. There's just something about it. I miss that kind of thing. Talk about what I need. So, saying that, the immediacy of things slow down here, but we love a Mercury-Venus conjunction and Mercury-Venus is happening right now, but we love a Sun-Mercury conjunction at 4 degrees here on the 24th with Moon and Pluto. And then just to make note here that on the 25th, it's the 25th that Mercury actually makes a sextile with Pluto in Aquarius. After this particular day with the Moon, with the Sun Mercury conjunction and Moon Pluto, it's within less than 24 hours we do the Mercury Pluto conjunction here, a sextile. And I think this is a very important moment for the world, honestly, from a very air fire point of view. And it's a little signal for what's about to come the next couple years. It's a minor aspect. It's a sextile. But, I'm covering my face up, dude. You got to shrink. It's a minor aspect. In one sense, it doesn't have like the strength of a square or conjunction, opposition, things like that. But I think it's symbolically something here. And that happens on the 25th, okay? Which brings us to the 29th. And here, I will actually erase now, because it's so cool what ends up happening here. I mean, just from an observational point of view, of what's happening. Sorry, my mic not be even here. Is like when we get to the 29th, okay, Tanya Stone's in chat, and Canada Dry, Canada Dry. This is how you roll. You roll in bunches. This is how you do, girl. Thank you. Just check my transits right now. Transit Moon is conjunct my natal Venus and Leo. Yeah, that's right. You're generous, Leo Moon. Thank you. I'll say to you, Canada Dry, that I hopefully that generosity from the world is reciprocated back to you, okay? And if it starts, you take care of yourself, girl. But that's a good call, a good thing on your transits right there. Yeah. So the 29th, we deal with the eclipse. Whoa. What the fuck did I just do there? I didn't like what I just moved on my app. Hope it doesn't move. And that is 9 degrees Aries. Okay. Eclipse. And now you see how important this is because of where Mercury is stationing here on Friday, like I mentioned earlier in this video. And here we have the 29th. We have this massive eclipse that happens. The interesting thing is, it's that day, later in the day, Mercury goes into Pisces at 29 degrees. So on the 28th into the 29th, Mercury is at 0 degrees Aries. So we'll just say here, we'll just go like this. So basically the 28th to the 29th, Mercury retrograde, okay, 0 degrees, and then it's on the 29th at 7:17, which is the 30th. Okay, 29th, Mercury goes back into Pisces at 29 degrees. This is the day of the eclipse. So now we have 2 eclipses where Mercury is the center point in all of this. Okay, so saying that, let's check it out because I am curious here. Let's look here. Here is the 29th chart. And where's my annotator? I wish I can play music on my streams and I wouldn't get like tagged for it. Like I wouldn't get, you know what I mean, demonetized. This sucks because I want to play that song now. But here is the eclipse at 9 degrees on the 29th, and you could see Mercury here at 0 degrees, right? And look at Venus at this point all the way back to the 28th. So the day before, Venus had a conjunction with Neptune. Do you see how much happens here from the 20th to the 29th? It's amazing the amount of intense transits that happen that have to do with multiple conjunctions with planets for the second time for Mercury and Venus. You have this point of the equinox happening, the 29 degree Pisces is 0 Aries. Every single day, this energy just carries. It's amazing. So, J.S. Ballard in chat says Mercury Neptune on acid March 30th. You go right ahead. You go find some black pyramid. And you put it on your tongue, my friend. Or symbolically, that's what you're saying, right? I mean, there's the microdosing phenomenon. You could do is there such a thing as macro dosing? What's macro? I'm going to, like, somebody says, I'm going to microdose, and they're going to microdose. But what if they microdose all day long? Anyway, I don't feel it yet. I don't feel it. Do some more. Oh, those miss the days, you know, when you hit a bag of caps or some shrooms and you're puking your guts out and you're like, it's the worst effing thing in the world, man. And then kaboom. Woo! Yeah. Let's go for a walk, man. You know, just let's lay on the grass, and 5 hours later you can't get off the ground because the earth just sucking you down and the sky's pulling you in. Anyway, yes. Let's look it up officially. We deal with Mercury stuff again. Interesting spot here because of what's about to happen. I'm going to show you here. Okay, so this happens. Mercury hits 0 degrees on the 20. It's 0 with the eclipse, and this eclipse is ruled by Mars, which is here now moving forward in Cancer. We want to pay attention to the last times Mars during the retrograde was at 22 degrees, and even last fall when it hit this place, I think it was October-ish, September and October or whatever it was. important. The aspects they're making here too. And I won't get into dissecting this eclipse chart, but we're just taking a look at what's happening here. And from a Mercury retrograde perspective, and let's just make this day, let's make this an hour. I want to move it an hour forward here. Here is an hour forward. I got to go all the way to 7 something. And there it is here. You see that I mentioned earlier that it's at 7:17 Pacific there on the 29th that you see Mercury then goes into 29 degrees and hits Neptune. So the eclipse happens, and it's later in the day that we have it going in there, and it's conjunct basically the Neptune. For those in other time zones, it is the 30th, as was mentioned in the chat. So yeah, in chat, Scorpio 6, oh shit, what do you know about Neptune squares, Nicholas? Neptune squares are, anybody's got a Neptune Venus square or Neptune square their Mars, like Neptune square Mars, that's a tough aspect. I've seen people like there's obsession with Pluto, but if you take the kind of locked in movement of a Mars placement, what it will do of wanting something, like it needs to take action now, and they get focused in on something, and then Neptune is squaring their Mars, they will fabricate what that is and obsess and go all the way in. And there's no boundary with the Mars, right? And then is it real or is it not, right? And it's obsessive and fabricated. Lies and deceit can happen. The other part of it is one could take action through their imagination if they find the healthy ways of working through a Mars Neptune square in their chart. It just depends on where in the chart is, and you could look at dignity and all this other stuff, but in general, that's a really tough aspect. And I think it takes a while in someone's life to understand a Mars square or Neptune square their Mars. I've seen it many times with clients, and having to find ways to put that into a container, because no matter what, one has to take action through their Mars in their chart. It's just how it happens. But a lot of times if it's external, they'll get lost in stories or make up stuff and then can get obsessed and lost in that thing. So anyway, so I'm pointing this out here on the 29th is what happens here. And you could see that already Mercury's going to here, right? And let's just keep going here since we're talking important Mercury dates, that it is here. Let's see if I can. We're basically applying as soon as that happened. Mercury's trying to chase down. We're on the 30th here, and Mercury's trying to catch up to Venus. And there's the Venus North Node conjunction. That's already the second time this is happening in months here. But Venus and Mercury are eventually they're in tandem here. So I wanted to point this out. That is the 30th. Okay, let's go by the day. Here we'll stick with the chart here. Then I'm gonna write it down on my screen on my little pad here. There's April 1st right here in the chart. And now look at Mercury here. We had Mercury's about to conjunct the North Node. That's going to happen. Not quite yet. Well, it's there. We passed something important. I cannot help but just do this. But there's the 29th. We know the next day, officially on the 30th, then Neptune is going to leave Pisces and hit the important 0-degree place here, temporarily here, until later on in the year, it's going to go back retrograde. And that's what happens on the March 30th officially. It will be in October 22nd, 2025, that Neptune will go back into Pisces and hit the 29-degree moment that we see here. And where we're at right now will happen later in the fall after we do another round of eclipses. And so the eclipses that happen later in the year have a Saturnian Neptune influence too. That's for another time. So now you see here the 29th, and then we get into the next day, the 30th. There's Neptune in Aries. And let's go back. This is important. Here on the 29th, let's not forget, the moon is in Aries and will hit the 0-degree place. And there is the sun at 9 degrees hitting the eclipse point that happens, right? It's there, but this is the point that Mercury stationed retrograde this Friday, 9 degrees, so on and so forth. There's other things to this. Needed to point that out, okay? So you see a Chiron conjunction happening with the moon, blah, 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 blah. But you also see Mars here getting in the mix. Okay, so anyway, don't want to stick there. I want to stick to my Mercury thing. Here's the 30th, and here's the 31st. You see what's happening now here. And then here we do Venus North Node. But it's here on the 1st. No, let's go to the 3rd. It's here on the 3rd that we have the Mercury North Node conjunction that happens on the 3rd. So another, hey, AV and Paul, AV in chat, and Paula Spittler, Earth Star is here. Just catching you, just seeing that. So we have that there. So I'm going to leave this there. Going to leave that there, and I'm going to go back to here. Okay, I'm going to go back there. April 3rd. Mercury conjunct North Node in Pisces. Mercury's retrograde. 27 degrees. That happens officially at 4:53 p.m. Check it out. Mercury's gone through the heart of the sun. Oh, you can't see that. Why? Oh, motherfucker. I know what's going on here. There. So, I'll have to adjust. There is that. Now, let's stop here. Mercury went through the sun along with Venus. Mercury crossed over, went through the sun, connected with Pluto, sextile on the 25th, is part of the eclipse. The day of the eclipse on the 29th, Mercury goes from 0, is at 0 during the eclipse, Aries, and then goes into 29 degrees, and then proceeds to go through Neptune then. So it goes through the heart of the sun. It gets reborn, right? Mind you, we're not even keeping track of Venus, because Venus does the same thing too here in all this in another timeline. But Mercury goes through and then hits Neptune. So what if you were a Mercury retrograde? If let's say you're a Mercury retrograde, and you went through the heart of the sun as an Aries, and you came out reborn, and you kept going backwards, but then you turn into a Pisces. And you did it during an eclipse. Okay? You did it during an eclipse. And the eclipse is in Aries, ruled by Mars and Cancer. Mars and Cancer is ruled by the moon. The moon, it's a new moon in Aries. What rules that? Anything in Aries. So you see what's happening here. There is this weird metamorphosis that's happening on different stages. Usually Mercury's just going to go through the sun during the midway point during a retrograde. But no, we're going to make you go through a bunch of other heavy hitters. We're going to make you go from Aries. You're going to lose your Pisces, your Aries self by going through the sun. And then you're going to lose what it means to be an Aries. You're actually going to die in that metaphorically a couple times in different ways. And then when you do that and you go back to being a Pisces, you're going to go right through Neptune to do it. And you're going to do it while Neptune is leaving and moving symbolically forward into Aries. So they're crisscrossing each other here. And like the messages that get passed through. So Mercury has to go through Neptune on the 3rd. No, on the 3rd, Mercury goes through the node, and then there's the Neptune thing that happens, whatever. So you see what I'm saying here? There's these movements that Mercury's doing that are different than normal retrogrades. North Node connection. There's going to be Saturnian connection again that's going to happen. I'm just, go through this. All of this stuff adds its flavor into like a mercurial soup. But the thing you have to remember about Mercury is it's the master of the alchemical. And I think anything that it touches, it becomes. And it can become anything. So purposely, it's doing this. It's like, sure, Mercury and Hermes is not going through the sky like, I don't want to go through Neptune. it's like, no, like now we go through Neptune. It's more like looking at you and tricking your ass that's dealing humans on the planet dealing with transits. Like now we're going to make you go through the sun and we're going to do it through an eclipse. And we already been through eclipse where I was the big part of the eclipse because I stationed retrograde. It's happening later this week. And then we're going to do it in 2 weeks. We're going to do this thing. And then I'm going to run you through the wash basically in Neptune. And I'm really going to do it. And not only that, if someone, let's say, why am I going to bring up Harry Potter? The last Harry Potter movie where, Harry's the last what? The last Horcrux, right? He finds out. So Harry knows he has to die in order to really get back at Voldemort. So he actually has to die. So I don't know why this example is coming up in my head. But Mercury is dying a couple times, but goes through Neptune in the dream world during all this. And not saying for you to take acid like chat we were talking about, but I really appreciate moments like this. I really do. And if you take a look at a video that I did more than a month ago, it was on Australia when Venus was in Pisces and the moon was in Pisces a weekend, and Mercury, there was this super Piscean love potion weekend. This is actually somewhat connected to that too. But there is something magical that happens here. Now, if someone I could see completely be disillusioned by all this type of movement in their life, if they have planets at early degree Aries and late degree Pisces, there's a lot of you Pisces people out there that are born as Pisces sun that might have Mercury in Aries, because Mercury doesn't travel too far away from the sun. It never squares the sun. Mercury does. It never goes that far. So, you could be a Pisces and have, either have Mercury in Aquarius, Mercury in Pisces, and Mercury in Aries most likely is a Pisces, right? So saying that, or you're in Aries and you have like Mercury in Pisces, right? This is you. And I'm going to say to not be afraid, because I could see how transits like this, multiple things with eclipses and all dealing with Pisces, Aries, and you have all these planets there, how overwhelming it can be. And there's a push-pull feeling going on with the Aries wanting to move forward and it can't, and then the Pisces wants to let go. And then the solutions, the places somebody will go when they are under duress or they have certain habits, raw habits of survival, and what they did in their life to survive became things that got them through stuff, but that end up becoming detrimental in their lives, and they have to change. And it's hard to change something that got you through certain parts of your life. Let's say they're really intense parts, things that you've learned in your nervous system, in your brain, in your fucking DNA, like it's just in you. So situations like this come to like completely reset stuff like this. So depending on the person, it could be completely discombobulating. On the other end of it, it can be completely transcendent to have Mercury holding a torch during eclipses and moving through and as an alchemical process and moving from the instinct realm of Aries into the intuitive deep realm of Pisces. And that, if you're doing it multiple times, is life-changing. So, it's where one understands their bigger picture in the world, and then one eventually acts upon that. So saying that, thanks for listening to that. This is some stuff on the top of my head. I'm not even looking at chat right now. So, again, this is an interesting time when we get here from the equinox, right? Which is March 20th. Now, at this point, we're dealing with April 3rd here. And we're dealing with right here on the screen, we have Mercury conjunct the sun, blah, blah, blah. What did I write next? It was April 7th is actually the day that Mercury stations. It stops going retrograde at 26 degrees. And this goes all the way back to February 28th was the last time we were at, as I started this stream, at 26 degrees. So Mercury's gone back, right? To jump forward, just to mess around, it's April 15th. I'm skipping a lot here. We're in Aries birthdays. It's April 15th that Mercury is going to go back into Aries after moving forward 0 degrees. You feel me? It's the 16th. that Mercury will be conjunct Neptune in Aries. Mercury will also sextile Pluto again. Whoa, 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 whoa. Mercury will sextile Pluto again. Did I just do that? How did I do this? I'm going to have to erase all this. So there's that. I'm learning how to use this tool. And I just got a new app, and I need time to use it. It's going to really change my annotation game. It's wild, from another company. So so saying that, when we get to the 20th, which is, we're getting towards birthdays here, Mercury will do its other sextile with Pluto again, right? At 3 degrees Aries. And on April 26th, Mercury will hit 9 degrees Aries, ending the shadow period and hitting the eclipse point that happens on the 29th. And where Mercury stationing retrograde this upcoming Friday into Saturday is basically here on the 29th. We hit this place again. And so I want to take a look at the 26th just for kicks, which we're going through a lot of transits here. There's like a full moon that's going to happen in Libra. There's a lot of stuff that happens, so I want to get into that. But you could see here, even on the 15th, you see Mercury here at 29 degrees. This is the 15th. There's Neptune at 0. We got a Saturn conjunction with the North Node. Venus is already stationed forward. Already went through Saturn. Won't even get into that. I could, but I'm not going to do that right now. I'm sticking to Mercury. But we will move forward. I want to point out this particular point in time is when the moon goes into Pisces, like on the 23rd, because then the moon's going to move through a Venus conjunction with the North Node, which we did in February, whenever it was. We did that magical weekend. Just Mercury's not in the game in this. It goes all the way back then. The moon in Pisces triggers that, and we're moving towards Mercury hitting here. And the moon in Aries will be there when it happens. The day Mercury hits the eclipse point at 9, the moon in Aries will be right along with this, really pushing the story. And look it's not too long there in April that Mars will be in Leo. So saying that, I want it, and there is Venus and Saturn and Venus is pulling up the rear here, right? And if we go, here is 29 degrees Venus. And then it will be like you and I in Aries, Venus at 0 degrees. Mercury's moving faster now, 15. See that? Jupiter's here now. And there's that, right? So we're building. The next day is here. And we have a Neptune Venus conjunction, but it's in Aries. We've had this Neptune-Venus conjunctions before the last couple months that we're looking at that happen in Pisces, but now they happen in Aries. So Mercury, in a sense, is the herald and is doing things for Venus here and moving past points, moving over points, and then being the scout in the end. Right now, if I go to the chart of now, okay, here is now. As we do the stream, you see Mercury, the official Mercury-Venus conjunction is going to happen here at 3:54 p.m. tomorrow is there. But you see Mercury the whole time has been catching up for months to this point and trying to catch Venus. Now Venus is moving backwards, so here it is. It's at this point after tomorrow that Mercury goes through, right, and then is going to pass Venus in a sense, and in a weird way still lead Venus even when Mercury goes retrograde and goes backwards, right? So then we go back to this point here, like on May 2nd, and you could see here that Mercury's moving way ahead, and Venus hits this conjunction with Neptune, something Mercury's done several times already, and setting up the scenario for Venus. moving forward. And what does Venus and Aries do with Neptune and Aries? I think it's a completely different scenario than Pisces. But this is where the dream and the desire is born. And, you know, Mercury is already setting up ahead, walking forward of Venus. But here Venus catches Neptune and the dream. Venus, Aries wants it, and they've been wanting it for a long time, and they see it. There's inspiration here. There's inspiration going on here. And I say this because Jupiter's moving forward here. None of the other planets are retrograde yet. Pluto's not going to be retrograde till a little bit, but at this point, every planet is moving forward. So here is the moving forward motion, and Venus catches the dream in Aries, and I think even fuels Aries even more and wants it even more. Like now I'm set. Now I know why exactly everything happened the last several weeks of my thing. I'm a morning star. I'm coming into morning star soon. I'm going to do that. I'm going to really show my desire in the world, and I'm going to get it. And Mercury's like, I told you so. You just had to do these things, but I'm setting it up for you down the blocks. You just got to catch up with me. You will eventually. You'll catch up with me, but I'm going to set your shit up, right? So there is that. And that is, we're in May 2nd already. Can you believe it? How a Mercury transit becomes so important. And here is Mercury with Chiron at 24 degrees on the 6th. And now Mercury here. Now we're going. Now we're there. And we hit an important point here with Mercury at 29 degrees. And it is here where we get in, and we're in the middle of May. And I think it's here where like Venus is shooting out the gate, and eventually we'll catch up, right? And if I even go further here, we missed a Pluto-Mars thing. I didn't want to get into that, but something else. But it's here on the May 19th part, then Venus has a fucking release. It's because Mars and Leo here at 14 degrees and Venus at 4, they have a massive fire trine that happens. And now, as Venus is a morning star and Mercury's leading the way and has done all the work, here comes Venus unleashed and hits Mars and Leo, and they just hit it off, and they completely fornicate. They completely fornicate in public. And the fornication that happens, the fornication happens publicly. It's a public display of passion, desire, and it's reciprocal. And it's to show off how good they are at fornication and creativity. And when the will feeds creativity, and we must orgasm all over the world to fire cleanse ego. Now, can ego get out of control? Yes, but I'm talking in a positive way. Venus here with the trine with Mars is symbolic moment, and I remember this down the line with all this that week, okay? Remember it, because for those of you who have been paying the price and how difficult with the Mercury retrograde in Aries and the Pisces, all this, we have that little transit that seems like nothing is everything. All you got to do is, if you ever been with anybody who's got a lot of fire in their chart and they called you up and they said, I'm coming over. They didn't ask you what you were doing, by the way. They said, I'm coming over. You're like, dude, what do you mean? I'm there in 15 minutes. You come there and they come blazing through the door. They just got done working out. They're feeling really good. And they're coming in and just is like, now. And the air sign's like, now what? Not getting it. If it's an earth sign, they're like, I understand. They're water. They're like, you're moving way too, I'm really sensitive. You got to like ease in here. Like, you got to set up the poetic scenario. This is not get it now, kiss now, fuck now. Okay. So, but if it's another fire sign, it's completely primal and it's boom. And then let's go eat. Let's go out into the world and let's glow, So didn't plan on that type of situation on this stream that I was going to get to this place. But I just gave you my view of looking at this. I know you have your own stuff. I didn't look at chat, but I'm glad you guys are doing your thing here. Congratulations, Kate. You get a certification on equinox. That's good. Good for you. Right on. And then, yeah, you guys are doing your thing. Good, you guys, man, you guys are so good. Paula's in there. Y'all taking care of each other. Who I got on the stream here before I got a nice, for a late night stream, I got some people. So yeah, right. Yeah. Scorpio 6, right. That May 19th down, Trine, Mercury, Uranus is at. Yeah. For the placements you have there. Totally. I think a lot of people will be happy. Leos will be happy because if they have fire, because they dealt with the Mars and Leo transit that went to 6 or 9 degrees in the beginning there in December, and then went retrograde. Like, what the fuck? I was about to have my Mars party, and then nothing, and it just feels like nothing. And the Leos are like wondering what's going on, but they get something. Not only do they get Mars and Leo going to the sign for the later part of spring in the northern hemisphere, but then Venus is gonna come through, along with it, newly reborn and feeling fresh in the morning like an Aries does, went right out the gate. And just be like professing, and having Mercury as a guide after that. It's then, just for kicks, it's then here. It's not too long after that. We have a Mercury, here's Mercury-Uranus conjunction that happens on the 24th. But it's it is the 24th. You're going to see here that Saturn then enters Aries at the 0 degree point. So you could see the themes that are happening here with Venus and Mercury and Aries and what it's doing. And even when Mercury's way ahead on a conjunction with Uranus, and we're already in the Gemini birthdays at the end of May. This is NORWAC Astrology Conference weekend, by the way. I'm going to be there, by the way. If any of you are going to be there in person at NORWAC, please come say hi to me. If you're one of my stalkers, don't say hi to me. If you're new and you're going to be at the conference for the first time, I'm officially throwing a party for the conference on Friday night to welcome all the newcomers. I will be there. I'm also working some of the Q&As in between the conference that are online for all the virtual people. I'll put up that info here in a second. But here we have Saturn here now hitting the story. And then you see the transits that we're doing here, how fundamental they are to a longer story of a Saturn and Neptune transit. They're going to be in Aries, Saturn for the next couple years, basically 3 years, Neptune for 14 years in Aries. They play the game of going back and forth to Pisces, the 29 point, 0 degree point all year until next year. They're fully in the sign. By that time, we're at springtime again, and we're hitting the 0 degrees Aries point again, and a lot of Pisces planets hitting 29 degrees before the equinox of next year. And you could see how this built for a longer, bigger world generational story that's fire and air. And so we are setting ourselves up for that basically in the next 2 months of transits, and Venus and Mercury retrograde is pretty much showing us what we got to do to get ready for all of this. That's the deal right there. You can also see here we're getting to the place eventually here, the end of May and the first week of June that I talked about in my live stream last night, where the nodes are going to 23 degrees, where the eclipse is here this 14th or this week. So that is how astrology can work, at least how I look at it. And the cool thing about astrology is you all have your own way of doing this and your own connection to all this. And this is just my opinion, my stuff talking with you all. And hopefully you picked up on something. Will I leave this video up? I think I will. Should I have done a regular recorded video with slides and all that, and I would have gained thousands of views? Yeah. You're a video editor out there and you're really good, or you know somebody's good, send them my way, because I don't have time for that, but it's sure like to make videos and have someone chop them up for me, because it's time. It's time for me to bust a move and up my game here on YouTube. but there's something about these live streams that I do, and there's a way that I flow on here too that has a lot of worth to me, and I know for many of you. I just don't get the followers at the rate. I don't have the trust fund to back me up. I don't have the partner to fund my YouTube channel. It's different for me of how it works. Bangela, I see you in chat. Yeah, AV, right on. Oh, AV's going to be there at NORWAC. Cool. But, hopefully you caught this up. I don't think I'm going to do chapter markers for this. It takes a lot of time saying that. So, but Earth Star is talking about end of May, Venus will be on Chiron. Yeah, and some of you who have a Chiron story that's been going on in Aries, you also see how this what's happening with Mercury and Venus eventually will be going over through Chiron. And if you're having a Chiron return, you're in your 50s there, early 50s. This is a big on that end. If you think of these transits don't affect your chart in some other ways, from a Chiron perspective, it's pretty big the next 2 months, 2 to 3 months. So there's that. Let me pull up. Look at my face right there. Dude, I'm just like, oh, dude, I'm tired. I just haven't slept in weeks. I just been putting out fires and helping other people out. And only because it's Aries now, I need to rest and take a bite out of the sushi roll that's sitting over here. Sorry. So, the NORWAC conference is May 22nd to the 26th. Where's my chat? Trader Joe's has these frozen kimbap rolls, Korean rolls. They always sell out. I forgot I had one in the freezer. All right, so this conference is sold out in person. If you're close in the Pacific Northwest and you want to go and you missed it, I would put your name on the waiting list, because sometimes these slots open up the week of the conference, even the days before, where people can't go. And then there go down the list of people who wanted to go in person. But if you're sitting there and you live on the other side of the country, you're not going to book an expensive flight with no place to stay because the hotel's sold out. And, this. So if you are close, I would put your name on the list if you wanted to do something like this, because you have a chance of being there in person. So saying that, if you want to be part of an interesting and amazing conference that has a big history behind it, for those who know, that conference changed my life. I wouldn't be here doing this if it wasn't for that conference and the people running it and my connection to them. And everything I've done in the astrology world as a practitioner on YouTube, but everything that I've done behind the scenes with other astrologers and other organizations and whatever else, for better or worse, let me just be real about that, for better or worse, is because of this conference. And so, I've been very lucky. But the online part of it is there. They're in between the lectures. Viewing the lectures online are these Q&As that I will be facilitating along with Laura Nalbandian, who runs the conference. Her mother started the conference 40 years ago or whatever it was. It's a family deal. They try to bring that vibe through online. There'll be several people in the rooms too. They encourage people to chat in between lectures, even late night after the lectures are done. Those Zoom rooms are open. Last year on the Saturday night, I snuck in online and was bringing people into a room. I had an internet connection at NORWAC. I was bringing random astrologers with drinks in them and talking to people online late night on a Saturday. I don't think I'll be able to do that, but I'm going to try to do some things on the fly. The Friday night, I'm welcoming new people in person as a party there, and maybe a couple other surprises. The lineup is incredible. Again, if you're interested and you're studying astrology and you're in a place where you want to do more, you've never been to an online conference, you're willing to go through that, there's recordings you get to watch for a month after. I forget how it works, I forget how it works. But it's there to watch online, and I am part of the deal. And I've been part of this conference from volunteering to working officially in many different ways for 14, 15 years now. So, and it's changed so much. And there's even people who meet each other virtually on there. And I know of a couple surprises that are going to happen virtually this year. I'm not going to say what they are, but blah, blah, blah. And here's the schedule. There's a big Richard Tarnas lecture that happens on a Thursday. Then our good friend Lisa Scheim is doing a massive pre-conference workshop on the Thursday about zodiacal releasing. She's one of the best at teaching this, and Lisa will be there in person, obviously online, the conference, and then the pre-conference lectures that happen are, look at this. It's Demetra George, Jason Holley. You don't even have to attend the whole conference. If you just want to do a pre-conference, you could just buy that and attend that. There's Jason Holley, Rewilding Astrology. I'm going to get into something about Jason here. Ann Orderly, who's an amazing teacher out of the East Coast doing electional. And then our beautiful pal, our beautiful fire-branded warrior from down under. Kira Sutherland is doing cycles of wellness timing techniques for optimal health. And saying that, I will take a thing here to go to my channel and go through my videos and find there is Kira, a video I did with Kira and Cameron when we were in Australia at Kira's place in her studio. It's grounding your nervous system. I will, when I was in Australia, I got to hang with them and with Kira. Such good people, along with Cameron Allen, who's going to be at NORWAC. There's another video I have here of a Mercury and Aquarius with Kira Sutherland, which I'm going to drop these links here in the chat. I'll do this one. Please go to the video, like it. This one's really good that I'm dropping in chat right now that I did with Cameron and Kira about ways to help with your nervous system. That's in the chat. And just take a look at this Mercury and Aquarius one that we did in general. This is really good stuff right there. Right here in chat too. I just threw it all in there. You could see the video with Kira and I that was in her studio, our apothecary that we did, and an incredible. That was here in Sydney, Australia, when I was there recently. So saying that, I also want to, and I'm going to get to this particular video right here in a second with Marc Laurenson, who else I did an interview with, or we talk about the lunar nodes in Pisces and Virgo. I'll drop that in chat right now. He's also an Australian, an amazing astrologer. He's not going to be at NORWAC, but since we're here, I'm going to drop that in chat also. Okay, so you could see that my interview. We talk about the nodes, and Mark's a great guy. So anyway, let's go back here. There's NORWAC. Kira Sutherland is happening there in person or online. The opening ceremony, which is very famous, everybody's attending, is in a big circle in the room, and we do this ritual where we look to all directions of the earth, and it's very ritualistic. And Jason Holley's led this particular opening in past years, and Patricia Walsh has in the past. There's a tradition that happens there. And then there's the opening ceremony speech that Stormy Grace, who I did a Venus retrograde video with, since we're promoing, I will show you. It is, let's go here. Maybe it's there on my posts. It will be, you'll see it here. I was on Stormy Grace's channel talking about Venus retrograde, just a casual conversation, actually, not really technical, but she had some amazing insights because she's got some Aries planets in her, and we had a good combo. That is dropped in chat too right now. Go over to Stormy's channel and check it out. Make a comment on there. She's doing the opening thing there. And Mildred in chat says, I did the online version last year, and I really enjoyed you popping into the online break rooms. Yeah, I see we're going to do that. I'm going to interesting responsibilities this year. Hopefully I'll be able to do that, but I got some surprises I might pull off too, by the way. So if I have the time, and that's the Gemini life. It's like, do you have the time? Judith Hill, it goes on and on and on here. Nina Griffin's going to be great to see her in person. A lot of other, Colin Bedell's doing a big lecture Saturday morning, which will be interesting. He's becoming a great speaker, Colin. You know Colin at Queer Cosmos. He's actually, there's many people at this conference speaking who were diversity scholarship recipients. And the conference, I'm very proud of all that. We all are who have been involved in the conference, to see people come through and watch them grow as astrologers. And, you know, that this is from Cameron Allen to Colin Bedell. There's so many people, you know, that have gone through that. So saying that, there it is. You can go here. I'll put the registry or the page. Just go check it out. I really recommend this if you are a person studying, getting deeper, you know, then I think it's worth it. If you're just kind of touching the waters, you know, I don't know what that means to you, like, but yeah, that's what's up. Saying that, I'm going to show you something else, since it's a free-for-all stream, and I think this is very important also, and it has to do with Jason Holley. If you don't know who Jason is, he's an amazing astrologer. I've known him for a long time through NORWAC. He's also have a therapeutic background and deals with, he was just on the astrology podcast with Chris not too long ago. Go watch that video. It's really good, talking about experiential astrology and astrodrama and all this stuff. It's so good. And he knows his myth and archetypes. He's going to be there at NORWAC. But Jason is throwing his own conference this year, and it's called the Living Astrologies Conference. And let me get the right link. It's right here. I'm going to drop this in chat. This is amazing what he's put together, and this is the first. And basically, there's all the facilitators going to be there with Jason, and the way they have set up this conference is more experiential and experimental. It's not you just sitting and everybody's sitting down and there's a person standing there telling you things. It's more about creating spaces for people to open up in many different ways and modalities, using astrology and other things. This is going to be in Santa Fe, October 2nd to the 5th. I don't know if I'm going to be there yet, but I really want to be. And, you know, you could see here, it's like the key words. It's relational, imaginal, embodied astrology, experiential. And so, you know, if you're thinking about doing a different type of conference and want to do astrology in a different way with amazing facilitators, I'm throwing the link here. You know, NORWAC conference is 400 plus people in person. This is maybe 100, maybe just a little bit more, a little less. So it'll be very personal and very close knit and in beautiful Santa Fe. So I really encourage you to check out this website I put in there. You could see they're like small, like workshops. It says right here, it says art making, somatics and movement, astrodrama, myth drama. Like you play the planets, you do the archetypes, and this Jason's well known for this. You also have writing and storytelling, ceremony and ritual, a different way of experiencing and using astrology. And I'm really psyched and excited for him and for many of the practitioners that are going to be there. Cameron Allen's going to be there. I know Gray Crawford and Jeannie Desert, you know, they're going to be there teaching. Amanda Moreno out of Seattle is a great astrologer. So many other people. You go take a look at this. And I just want to really support Jason and all the people here that are trying to do something new, and ways of doing astrology has been talked about for a long time. And Jason's been doing this kind of work along with other astrologers, like personally, like in, you know, where he lives and other small places. But I appreciate these ways of moving through life. I'm one of these people, when I talk about the transits, where I'm more of a street person talking about it, but it's only because I'm like, well, you know, we're going to talk about Mercury retrograde. Like, you might as well put the Mercury retrograde in Aries costume on and just try to do it the next 3 weeks. You know, I literally will tell people stuff like that, you know, find out symbolically what they can and cannot do, not just looking at the data. You know, and if one is going to take action through astrology in their life, there's many ways of doing it. You write a song, you create a piece, you dance, you movement, other ways. It's limited in what you can do. Everything is astrology, and astrology is everything. So there's no limitation. And in the end, there's one's own personal connection to what it is, not just my opinion, and the thousands of other people who do it. In the end, you know, like when clients come to see me, they go, thank you for doing that for me or whatever. I'm like, yeah, I did something. I helped facilitate, but I'm there to hold space and to mirror. You are the one who truly knows. And it's always, always inside you. And a lot of times it's untapped potential, untapped parts of yourself, or parts of yourself that you have forgotten, or parts that you know that you have, but you don't know how to utilize them because you never had the tools. And so we try to learn and do this in our lives. And so that goes to astrology, of how we apply it. So what's to say the way I do astrology is better than somebody else's? It isn't. It resonates in many different ways for many different people. So if it is, you know, astro drama and experiential and staring at the stars at night, then that's what it is, right? So again, I want to support these homies, you know, and support them. It's just, you could see Amanda Moreno, Aaron Fogel, who's astrologer, Diana Rose Harper, Jace. There's so many other people, a lot of other people that people don't know here that are going to be doing this. Like Stephanie Phillips and Walter Yeager and Tara. These are old school Seattle people that I know who have got therapeutic backgrounds. They're really good at what they do, so on and so forth. Okay, so that's it. I just being selfish on this stream. I really don't care. I was going to show you something else. I mentioned something. I mentioned the Venus retrograde video, the Lunar Nodes video. You should really check that one out. It's so funny. You're going to look up Chris here, Chris Brennan, because where's he at here? He put out a video today on Chinese astrology. I haven't had a chance to, no, there's Chris and Nick, but that's not what I'm picking. I'm picking, where is this? Give me a second. This is the video that I was talking about. And if you got some time, it's right here. It's, Hey,
my name is Chris Brennan, and you're listening to the Astrology Pod.
There is the video that he did with Jason Holley. It's called Experiential Astrology and Astrodrama. I take the time to listen to this one. It's you'll learn a lot here. My computer, my CPU is running hard right now. I gotta close these windows. I know what's going on. I need to close this. Give me a second. This stream might be stuttering. Hold on. I forget. Now I missed the link. I can't do it right now. My thing is stuttering. I lost the link. You can go find Chris's channel. All right. All right. So, saying that, let me wait for my CPU to calm down. Why is it doing that? Let me look if I'm dropping frames right now. No. All right. That's the dealio. Thanks for watching my late night thing. I appreciate you all. I hope you're out there still. I can't tell if my stream is crashing right now. So you can always go back and look at this stuff. I might stream more this week. And I'm definitely, before I go to sleep tonight and when I wake up tomorrow, I'm definitely going to use the Mercury Venus conjunction that we're building up to. It's kind of the reason why I did this stream. and why I think it's important, you know. So saying that, give me a second here. Yeah, I'm pushing it on this stream right now. I need a better computer. But that's what's up. I think you're still there in chat. I have no clue if you're there right now. I'm going to wait a second here before I say goodbye, okay? Oh, there it is. My chat crashed on me. That's why I can't see. Hold on. Oh, man. Whoa, I haven't seen all this stuff going on. Let me catch up. Steffi G with a super chat. Thank you so much. Thank you, Steffi G. Man, you guys are so there. You're fucking present for me, man. It's nice, you know. Honestly, it's nice to have a crew, community of people, you know, reflect back. So, Steffi G, thank you. Crystal Marie, hey, we love the live stream of consciousness. That's exactly what it is. Live stream of consciousness. I'm stealing that. Live stream of consciousness. It's okay. Scorpios don't cry in public. Scorpio 6. Anna Hira, thank you so much for the super chat here, helping me out on the channel. Hey, Patrick, didn't see you. Patrick, let's just stop here. See, Patrick, you've been seen on my streams here, right? And it's, wish I had gonna pull you in, but Patrick here, Patrick, where is here? He's a channel member. He is a major pillar and participant of NORWAC conference itself. And if you've ever been to the bookstore at NORWAC, Patrick and the person who runs the bookstore, Lauren Nalbandian's son, Greg Nalbandian, has got a deep history at the conference too, working as a family, and all the recordings in the past the past NORWAC recordings you get online. But the bookstore, that's all Greg's deal for years. Greg used to run a bookstore with the family too, brick and mortars in Seattle called Astrology et al. But Patrick and Greg are the ones who run the bookstore. And if you're ever there and have gone through, you've talked to one of those two people, or you've talked to Patrick. So Patrick knows a lot about astrology and esoteric arts, and I've worked with them for years, volunteering with Patrick. Well, I started off as volunteering, but I've worked with Patrick and Greg. And if I'm correct here, I'm going to see these two fools, these two cats, next year at the United Astrology Conference. The last one was in Chicago in 2018. It will be there again next year. And that huge bookstore that's going to be there, you'll see Patrick, you'll see Greg who's running it, and Patrick helping him run the show there. And if you have any other questions about astrology books, a lot of stuff, Patrick knows this stuff. Maybe this time when I'm live at NORWAC like I was on Chris's channel, Patrick will show his face on camera and say something. But Patrick's in chat. I see Apotheria. Thank you. You're welcome. And Maggie's son, Laura's brother. Thank you, Patrick. My brain's gone. So that's what's up. Hopefully he's got his fingers crossed that we see Patrick and NORWAC in there next year. Also, by the way, the United Astrology Conference, I will be there working. I'm selling ads for the conference. I'm also running the vendor room. If you know anybody in Patrick's no face, like, it's going to happen, brah, but we'll start with the audio. But if you know anybody in the Chicagoland area who is an astrologer, a tarot card reader, a practitioner, sells, makes jewelry, anything that would fit in a vendor room at an astrology conference that people are open to buying that stuff, please send them my way, because I want to bring some of those people into the tables, into the vendor room. The vendor room's huge. It's going to be a lot of the people, astrologers, and the schools of astrology will have tables there. All the orgs, people who sell astrology software and calendars, they're all going to be there having tables. But I want to bring people in that also sell, that are different, tarot card readers, all types of people to just give it some flavor, right? So if you know anybody in the Chicago, Atlanta area, you send them my way. And my email's in the copy down there. I really want to start recruiting people for that, okay, ahead of time. So, all right. Thanks for everybody for jumping in tonight. I appreciate you all. Thanks for the super chats and going on the fly here with a Mercury retrograde thing. Again, I don't know if I'm going to chapter mark this beast. I think I'm going to leave it up. All right. So, and my stream is really hurting right now, energy-wise, on the CPU. So saying that, all right, let me get out of here. I'll look at the chat here in a second. I got to close that out. And then, yeah. Let's close it out like this, the way I started. Hour and a half stream. All right. I call upon you, Hermes. I call upon you to deliver your messages from the in-between place and look forward to hearing what you have to say now in the next month and a half. Fly high, Hermes. Fly deep. You're everywhere and nowhere. You little creep. Anyway, so that's what's up. I gotta go. My brain is gone. See you later on my YouTube channel. See you later on my YouTube channel.